Welcome to Money Matters, the weekly currency roundup podcast brought to you by IsraTransfer. Whether you're a seasoned investor, an expat managing your finances, or just curious about the world of currency exchange, you're in the right place. Each week, IsraTransfer's co-founder and head of trading, Daniel Engelsman, will inform us of the latest trends, insights, and market movements that could impact your money. From currency fluctuations to economic news, we're here to equip you with everything you need to navigate the ever-changing landscape of foreign exchange. So let's dive into this week's roundup. Daniel, what's the latest update on the exchange rate?
Welcome back to another weekly podcast about the shekel exchange rates. Normally, over Pesach, things are quiet, and they are in terms of actual volume of movements of currency, but fluctuations have carried on. And we've seen quite drastic movements. A lot of what I'm going to talk about and results are based off of what's going on worldwide. We're seeing, the increased effect on the exchange rates of the, I guess you'd call it a trade war that President Trump has started across the world. When it first started, markets were reacting in a very strong way, pretty much against what he was doing. They've calmed down a little bit, I think it's fair to say, but it just goes to show that there's so many factors that affect the exchange rate, and this is just one. Obviously, we've talked in the past, interest rates have big impacts on the exchange rates. Political factors have big impacts on the exchange rates. And this is a big political move. Obviously, war has a big impact on exchange rates. I think we've spoken before about the impact of ceasefires on the shekel rates, and then the resumption of wars here in Israel, how that affects the rates. So the dollar over the last couple of weeks, we saw it go as high as 3.83. If you remember, we were in a range of around 355 to 360. It really has jumped up a lot to 383 about 10 days ago. It was as high as 373 a couple of days ago, and there's been a big sell-off, and we're down to around 365 at the time of recording this. A lot to do with the trade war, a lot to do with interest rates, not decisions, but rumors about what's going to happen with interest rates. And we have seen the dollar generally weaken against all major currencies. The 383 rate is the highest we've seen in quite some time. A lot of clients were looking to convert at those levels, and it was a good time to do so.
And what about the British pound and euro?
We do often see that when rates climb quite drastically, that they do fall off, and we'll see a very good example of the pound. The pound went to 4.99 yesterday. That's one of the highest we've seen in over a year. Often at those psychological levels of 5, you see a lot of resistance. So there's no surprise that we've seen it come back down into the 4.8. So it's one to keep an eye on. I think if it does approach 5 again, we may see it break through, and then who knows where it could go. But for the moment, anywhere between 4.9 and 5 is a very, very good rate. And that's, again, driven by the trade war that we're seeing and lots of interest rates decisions or comments that are being made relating to the economy. In terms of the euro, we've seen it hit a rate of 4.29 a couple of days ago. Now, this is the highest it's been since October 2023 when the war started. And before that, we've not seen that kind of level, apart from then, in more than 5 years. So a fantastic rate for the euro at the moment. And again, it's all driven by exactly the same factors that we've been talking about.
And finally, any advice for those looking to exchange funds over the coming weeks?
Now, in terms of a little tidbit of information that I like to end with, we get contacted a lot when the exchange rates shoot up. A lot of people want to convert money when they see the rates go to those levels. What you've got to bear in mind is that sometimes just because you see it hit very good rates, you need to be able to act. So do you have the money liquid or you don't have the money liquid? It can take you a little bit of time to make the funds available in order to convert them. So the little bit of information I have for you is make sure you understand how you can make the money liquid in a quick and efficient way if need be. There's also tools that can be used like a forward contract. to be able to fix a rate for a future date, which is a bit more detailed, but those kind of tools are available. And, feel free to reach out to me or anyone in my team to discuss that. So when the rates hit certain levels that you want, there are ways that you can fix that rate. So think about that and be in a position to act if the rates get to these kind of levels. I wish you a Shabbat Shalom, and we'll speak next week.
And that wraps up this week's Currency Weekly Roundup. We hope you found this episode informative and engaging. If you enjoyed today's discussion, be sure to subscribe and let us know if you have any questions you'd like Daniel to answer. For more information on currency exchange and to stay updated with the latest trends, visit us at IsraTransfer.com. Join us next week for more insights and analysis. Until then, stay informed and take care. Disclaimer: this podcast provides general information about currency exchange and buying or selling currency. It does not constitute legal, financial, or investment advice. Listeners should make independent decisions and seek professional guidance. The company is not liable for any actions taken based on this content.